Okay, good. You're all muted. Okay, so let me just start out with some kind of housekeeping things here first. Thank you so much to everybody that has been sending in the homework assignments. I got them all out to you today, so you should have an email with the latest, the emails with what the benefits are that I'm receiving individually or globally or both. And also I added some of the more, some of the submittals from the meditation exercise as well. So you'll find them at the bottom of the email. I have been working all day, so I didn't have time to add anything that I received since this morning, but I know there were some others that people sent to me. So if you guys still want to send in any homeworks, I'm happy to send out one more PDF within a few days, because I think it's really good, number one, to have continuing contact after today. And also it gives us an opportunity to keep refreshing our focus on what our benefits are and refreshing our focus about our connection to the feeling of ourselves as eternal beings. Okay, those 2 points are going to be something that you don't want to just end when our call is over today. Those are 2 things that you really want to continue to pursue. So I'll send those out. And thank you for everyone that has sent them out. I got so many of them overnight and this morning. I didn't even have time to read most of them myself. And I was really impressed with how extensive the lists are, because I think it's really something to celebrate, that when you're reading what everybody wrote, it helps you to find more for yourself. It helps you feel more at peace. It helps you feel more connected to the value of what's going on, whether we can see them or touch them or feel them or not, just having that list. And I think it's something good to just even keep on your desktop. And if you're feeling a little bit below the line, just pull those up and start just scrolling through those benefits again, because it can help you to ignite the value of what it is we're experiencing. The other thing is, a few people after the last call asked if we could keep Zoom open so that everyone could share, because it was so much fun waving and hugging. So I do have more Zoom events today that start, but they don't start until 1:30. So I'm going to leave Zoom open at 1 o'clock, so you can all interact if you'd like, or say hello and all that. And I won't be recording that. I'll stop the recording, but you guys can just have fun on Zoom if you want to afterward, until I have to get ready for my next event. So it's great to see you, because it's a wonderful moment. It's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful week. It's a wonderful month. It's a wonderful year. It's a wonderful life. And part of what we're doing here is just to remember all of this and have that be top of mind and what our focus is. Top of mind and what our focus is. It's so much easier, I think, to put our energy here after a week or so of actually looking for what the benefits are in all of this, because we were hit so much with so much information and so much negativity, and so many people coming at us with misinformation or contradictory information, and watching people behave in ways that we weren't really adoring. So in the middle of all of that sea of chaos, it's really nice to just choose your focus as, all right, all that other stuff is going on, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to have to swirl within it. I can make a choice that I'm understanding all of the value potentially, and we'll see more. There'll be more that comes out in a month and a year and a decade. This will become one of those pivotal moments in history where we're seeing the benefits over and over and over and over again down the road. So for now, I'm getting that I don't have any control over other people. I don't have any control over how some people are responding. I don't have any control over their choices. But what I do have control over is my choices. That's what I have control over. So just to review, the 2 I had said in the bullets of what we were going to talk about in these 3 classes, the first 2 that we have been really focusing on as how to make this the best opportunity possible. First one, and I put this as number one because I think that so much of the world ignores this aspect of our reality. But number one is our feelings. It's actually tapping into and experiencing our eternal existence. That is number one. Every other thing that we do without that component, it's almost like instead of starting at the potential of 100% peace or 100% happiness, if you do not make your intention to tap into the eternal feelings of your own existence and your higher self, if you ignore number one, it's almost like you're entering into the game at 70%. So you can't get any higher than that, because this is probably one of the single greatest recollections we can have in the human experience, is the feeling and the sense that we are connected to each other, to everything, to the vibration of love, to unconditional love, which is very different than just love. Unconditional love is what we are. It's what we're made out of. It's what everything in physical existence is. Okay? So in my journey, this was the single greatest thing that changed my life from that point on, was being able to feel the connection. Not to intellectualize it. That's good. It's a great start. You're ahead of probably 80% of the population. But to feel it, to sense it, to know it, and to allow yourself on a regular basis, the same way you would value drinking water, to tap into the feelings. Keep practicing and finding your way to tap into the feelings. When you experience those feelings and you amp them up and you bring them back, there's a sense that beyond a shadow of a doubt that this life is meaningful and purposeful in ways that you may or may not understand. But that sense of it being meaningful and purposeful is oftentimes enough to get you through uncertainty or unknown or fear or any other emotion that doesn't feel supportive. Okay? So that was number one. And number two, the second opportunity that we have, this is all good, right? We got that memorized? It's not going away. It's a permanent part of existence now, because energy never dies. All right, so the second one that we have been focusing on is number two. Is to find the benefits. So what we really didn't talk about quite as much last time, because we were talking about finding the benefits personally and globally. But the second aspect of this, let's say it's 2A, is to integrate those benefits. This is taking it from, again, from being in the head, from being in the mind, from being philosophical, from being analytical, and taking it and putting it into our being. So no matter what, it's great to find the benefits. It's great to know them. It's great to feel a sense of hope or possibility because of knowing that there are so many benefits that are potential. But it really makes all the difference in the world when you move it from your mind and into your being. It's to let those benefits in. For the last decade, I've been helping people understand their relationship with their bodies. And one of the primary focuses that we have when we're understanding our relationship with our bodies is to understand how our bodies communicate with us for our potential benefit. The body is the only aspect of us that's entirely born of the earth and dies of the earth. So it only has itself to use as a tool or a mechanism to communicate with us when we separate from our wisdom. So every body disharmony that we have, everything from an injury to a chronic illness to a one-time illness, is a way that our body is helping us to open up or rediscover something that we forgot. Now, when you're working toward reharmonizing your body, you have to figure out what the benefits in that disharmony are. Okay. But if you keep those benefits in your head, the body is still going to message you through the disharmony. So the whole idea is then, all right, so now that I understand what some of those benefits are, when I'm able to implement them, that's when the earthly partner comes along that can help you reharmonize to the best of possibilities. So it's not enough to have it in your head, although that's an important and necessary and essential step. It's not enough to have it in your head. You want to move that into your being. When you integrate benefits, the benefits of every opportunity or every bit of chaos or everything that you thought was negative, the benefits become a part of your eternal being. It doesn't just serve you in the human experience. It becomes a permanent and eternal part of you, in or out of a body, in or out of this lifetime. That's how we get the surges in our own vibrational energy as souls. This is how we grow bigger. This is how we grow larger and closer to the vibration of love from which we are all sparks. That is the process. It's taking benefits and making them a part of our being, okay? The recollection of the feelings when you're in human form, that recall, that sense of knowingness, that stop fighting thinking you're alone, stop fighting thinking life is hard, you stop fighting thinking that there's some kind of separation or limited being here. The feeling of us as eternal beings connected to all things, it's remembering the truth of who we all are. I'm actually kind of blown away that even though I began to communicate with guides in 2005, I'm kind of blown away that like 15 years later, every single thing that I had channeled in that last 15 years has turned out to be true. But that I get to be a participant in one of the most magnificent thrusts forward for the enlightenment of humanity. Like, you know, I'm sorry, but if you look outside your windows, well, not outside your window, but if you turn on the news, please don't, but if you did, if you turned on the news, you see like stuff's really messed up out there, right? And it has been for a long time. So it's easy to get discouraged thinking that even though we're planting seeds and we're doing whatever we can with our points of light, it's easy to get discouraged and think that we're not going to be able to be witness in this human body to some of those really incredible positive changes that we're wanting to promote. And I feel like all of us here on this call, we can get together and say, we are a part of it. We are making history. We are actually getting to be witness to our choices and being points of light. We are. And that's very exciting. That's very exciting. We get to help others continue with the process of deconstructing non-soulful institutions and behaviors. We get to be a part of it. So for example, you know what? I say, should I not say things? I'm gonna just say things as they are. So I did a session with someone this morning, and someone in her family, the only thing locally open is Chick-fil-A. So he's been going there every day for lunch. So, you know, I'm a point of light. So even though I didn't necessarily want to say anything, I did. I said, all right, that's terrific. However, is he aware that Chick-fil-A has intense promotion of homophobic behavior and policy? And so it was my opportunity. So I'm not saying don't go there. I'm just saying, is he aware? If he's aware and still chooses to go there, then at least he's making a conscious choice, right? So as all of this is happening, there might be little opportunities where we say something on our mind in a non-judgmental way or a non-critical way. It's just like, this is something I'm aware of and other people might not be aware of it, right? So I'm not telling you to make a choice, and I'm not telling you that you can't eat there anymore. But if you point things out, I think she's on the call, but one of my clients, we were talking about what the half-year life of styrofoam is, in a meeting a year or so ago, and I did mention this previously on, I think, the first call, but she single-handedly got one of her favorite organic stores that she shopped at every day. She got them to stop using styrofoam in a very kind way, not in a mean way, not in a non-loving way, but just in, here, I just want to educate you because you might not know, but because of my views and my values, even though I love your food and I want to eat it every day and I want to support you because I love your values, I can't eat here anymore if you're going to give me my food in styrofoam containers. So part of what the benefit of this is that it kind of strengthens our desire to be maybe a little bit more verbal, a little bit more sharing the points of light in ways that are not condemning anyone or criticizing them or making them feel flawed or at fault, but just saying this is my perspective or this is something that I became aware of, period. And then whatever they want to do with it, they get to do that thing with it. We can't assume that people know things that might not necessarily be connected to the vibration of love. Like, you know, I was trying to decide, should I say the name of the place before? But I don't have a problem saying the name of the place anymore. I used to not say things up until maybe a year and a half ago. I don't have a problem because if something is not connected to the vibration of love now, like using styrofoam, I don't have a problem calling out that it's not connected to the vibration of love because we want to ask people to move up. Move it up, move it up. Don't bring it down, move it up. Move up every single thing you can closer to the vibration of love, okay? All right, I want to add something else, like how we're really seeing this deconstruction of non-soulful focuses on the planet. So this is, I didn't read through all the benefits so that people wrote, but if anybody wrote this, then I'm crediting you now, even though I haven't read it yet. So I'm crediting you intuitively. But one of like the coolest things is, I don't watch the news, so I'm not going to use the correct language, but they have these small business loans applications that came out Thursday night and Friday. And I've been, you know, coaching a lot of clients that are going through the process of applying for the loans. And it seems as though those who receive the loans, that there'll be a certain amount of it that is forgiven. And for any part of those loans that they're received, if they're using it for some bills or payments that are not in their primary set of what we would like you to use this money for, I heard that it's only a 1% loan fee. Now, here's the thing about it. I've been noting and saying this since, I don't know, when I was working in corporate America, I was saying that it's odd how our country does not value the small business owners. It's bizarre. Like the amount that we have put into the economy. I don't mean just me. I'm not talking about me because I was feeling like this when I was working for a big company. But what a small business owner does, and then you add them all up and what contribution they make to the economy, to moving forward, to inventions, to helping other people that are in their employ pay for mortgages and college educations and foods and towns and roads and libraries and all the stuff. Such a massive amount comes from the accumulation of the efforts of small business owners. Yet it's been such a disregarded population. Every time something comes out of you know, a giveaway or a forgiveness or this or that, it always goes to the big companies as though the little companies aren't doing anything. And what I was noticing today is, you know, here, if you are, I'm not saying that being a CEO or a CFO is not a stressful job, but at the end of the day, if you are the head of a big company or you have a managerial position, it's stressful and it's a lot of responsibility, but at the end of the day, it's somebody else's money. At the end of the day, it's someone else's money. When you are a small business owner, it's all you. It's all you. It's 100%. Your successes and your failures, and whether your staff gets paid and they feed their kids, it's 100% on you. So it's a different feeling. So one of the benefits of all of this with the virus is that it seems as though the country is going to rally around the celebration of the understanding of the value of small businesses. And that's cool, okay? All right, so I want to get to my next point. That's my lead into the next point. One of the benefits, but this is such an important benefit that it's worth standing alone as another line item of how we can make the best of this opportunity. Back whenever the big stores, the big warehouse stores started to open, there was a lot of pushback about the effect that it would have on the mom and pop stores and the small businesses, and how, you know, we were really trying to encourage maintaining our patronage of the main streets and small business owners and so on. But one of the things that I think is really emerging from this virus, one of the other benefits, is it's the value of relationships. When you might have a great, really big company that you work with, but when you are on hold on customer service, you're never going to get the same customer service rep twice in a row. They might be able to pull up your information on their computer and see that, oh, you're a good customer, or you always do this, or you always do that. They might be able to see you reflected on their computer as numbers and as statistics, but they have no idea who you are. And if you call again tomorrow, they have no idea who you are. And if you call again in a week, they have no idea who you are. They may even have a good enough system that they have notes in their file that they can act as if they know who you are. Oh, I see here that you called in October and you were having a challenge with such and such, but it's still not personal. It's still not intimate. It's still not about you. It's still about a big number. You're a piece in a big number. Well, one of the things that you find when we're experiencing this big global crisis is you start to realize that relationships, they matter so much. I just to give you some insight, my clients who are applying for these business loans, the only ones that are having success that I'm seeing so far are the ones who have relationships with a local bank. The other ones, it's just not going as well. It's hard, it's difficult, things are getting pushed back to them, and they're alone. They feel alone, they feel like it's a crapshoot, but I have these clients that they actually have these working relationships with banks, and the banks are helping them by name, helping them look through what they submit, helping them, okay? And it's not just about the size of a company, it's about the relationship. So I'll give you a kind of funny example. Right when we were starting to practice social distancing, I was at one of the really big home improvement stores. And I do go to the local hardware stores for the things I can. I do try to make sure that I'm helping those businesses out, but there are a lot of things I can only get at the big stores. But I have relationships with some of the people in that store. When they see me, they know who I am. And so the other day I was, well, now it's probably a month ago, but I was at one of those big stores and I'm making gardening boxes that go above the ground. I have something on my property called a vole. Here's a little side education for you. For those of you who don't know, a vole is an underground little thing like a mole, but a mole eats meat and a vole eats vegetables. So needless to say, I can't grow vegetables because of the voles, right? So I'm making these boxes that are lined with metal mesh. And because the boxes that I'm making are touching the ground, I have to use cedar. Cedar is kind of a little more expensive wood than other kinds of wood. So that people at this, I was going to almost say the store, I can celebrate Home Depot. So Home Depot because they know me, I'm grabbing the cedar and they're cutting it on their big, cool We Cut Cedar machine. And as we're going through it, he's noting that every piece that he pulls up has a knot on it or a notch in it or something. And he winds up, he's like, well, that's not perfect. That's not perfect. That's not perfect. And he winds up giving me 2/3 off the cost of the wood because I knew him. Do you follow me? I didn't ask for anything. I didn't ask for a discount. I didn't really care. They're going to be filled with dirt anyway. But it's about a relationship. And even though it was at a big store, he knew who I was. He valued me. And he'll want to help me next time I go in again. So part of this is about the disconnect that we have been experiencing through social media, through big corporations taking over even some of the simplest things like Airbnb versus bed and breakfast. All of this, right now, this period is showing us that people matter, that our hearts are in things, that our lives are in things, that our hopes are in things. And it'll help us get back to, in a commerce position, remembering the value of our relationships. Guarantee when each of you get up and go out and go to a restaurant again, you're going to go to the restaurant of someone that you know is probably a family-owned restaurant, someone that you've been thinking about and almost imagining what the consequence of this period is like for them. You're not going to run right out to a major chain right away. You're going to go and try to pay attention to the people that live in your community. So, and it even goes beyond commerce. It's, you know, go on the Piece It Together page and you look at all of the really cool things that people are doing for each other. Again, it's about relationships. It's about us caring about each other. It's literally about unity. I've always been so enamored by those images. Yeah, I need someone here to just clean my board for me every time I write. So you know those really cool images where they show you, oh, this is going to be such a bad drawing. Bear with me. So this is like the globe, right? So these are the continents, right? And then, so then they have all these pictures of everybody who looks different and they're wearing different clothing and they're different colors. I love those images. All the people around the globe looking different, being themselves, being unique, being original, and they're all holding hands. This is where we're headed now. This is where we're going. This now becomes possible. Right now, in my business, probably a lot of you have missed it, but I have an event on the calendar for April 26th. We'll have to see if we keep it for April 26th. But one of the things I've been doing for the April 26th event, and as soon as this started, I haven't been promoting it as much, which is why you probably might not be aware of it, or maybe you are aware of it. But what we're doing is we're doing a, it's too wet. A unity flag event. So back in October, I had this idea where if we are all one and we're all heading toward understanding how we affect one another, let's create, instead of different country flags, let's make a global flag. So the idea is that on the April 26th event, or if we switch the date, whatever date we choose, is I'm going to reveal the winner of the contest. I've gotten a few submittals, but like I said, I've stopped promoting it the last month or so as I was seeing how this plays out. But how amazing that my intention was for people to start seeing ourselves in unity, and put this whole flag contest out there, and it lands right in the middle of the most potentially unifying global event that the world has ever experienced. Mind-blowing. So that brings me to our next point. I told you that there were 3 habits or 3 techniques that we were going to learn to be able to use from this day forward in anything that happens, not just in this period with the virus. So the first one is feelings, feeling our eternal connection. The second one is finding the benefits in anything that happens that feels disagreeable. And the third one is what we're going to talk about today. Before I do that, let me give you guys a chance to, so I can see your faces. Raise your hand if you have a question, like we did last time. Anybody have a question? I got Christine and Monica. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with you, Monica, only because that's where my cursor is. No offense, Christine. Oh, I get to see everybody now. I put it on a view. Hi! Oh, it's so good to see you! Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, I'm unmuting you, Monica, okay?
Oh, okay, can you hear me? Do I need
can.
to do anything? Okay, so I just have a question on, like, I love what you said about the small businesses because they definitely shape the character of our towns. Otherwise, our towns are all the same, you know? Everyone will have a Walmart and a Home Depot, so that's really great. I like all these benefits, and I've kind of known about these for a long time, but I am physically feeling horrible. And I kind of know I was excited. I'm excited about what's happening now. Like, I know that how great it is. And we've always lived a slower life. I have 2 kids that have special needs. So we have done a lot more family things and like a slower lifestyle than kind of most people. And I understood the benefit of that. But what if you're just feeling completely crappy and you understand how powerful the time is and how great it is for all these things? I completely agree. Like, what do you do about that?
Okay, it's a great question. And over the last couple of weeks, as I'm doing sessions with people, virtually everyone has brought this up at one point or another. I'm going to mute you, Monica, just to answer the question, okay? The answer is, number one, it's important for us to understand that there is a individual and a global component to everything we experience. And part of this opportunity is to not minimize one or the other. I'm not going to go through it all because I don't want to use all the time up, but back in 2012, at my first year before a seminar, one of the most profound pieces of wisdom that came through that day from the guides was that you, hold on one second here, you are as important as everything, and everything is as important as you. So in our schools of thought, philosophies, religions, politics, and so on, most people preach or practice that everything is more important than us. But when we shift to understanding that you as an individual are as important as everything, everything on the planet shifts. You are as important as everything. Everything is as important as you. Back in 2012, getting that information download from guides live in front of that audience that day, it completely changed my perspective about reality. So what this means is that it becomes more clear. If you throw a piece of litter out your window, you're saying that you're more important. Your laziness or your ignorance is more important than everything. But once you realize that they're both equal, you're like, no, I'll take my litter and I'll bring it home with me and I'll dispose of it properly. Then you're realizing that you are as important as everything and everything is as important as you. And a piece of litter out the window is just one tiny component of how we operate in a space. When you get this and you live this and you know this, you become a steward for your planet, the animal community, the plant community, others, ideas, whether you like people or not, you still become a steward for the vibration of love, right? Now, within this is you are as important as everything, and everything is as important as you. One thing I've been helping people to understand is that when you have the intention to live more soulfully, you get like a layer of protection. I don't want you to see it as it isolates you, because it doesn't. It's not about isolating. So think of it as porous, like all of the good can come in, but none of the bad can come in. There's a block for anything negative. So you start to build this bubble of impervious to harm way of being in your physical body. It's one of the reasons why for so many years I've been saying no plane of mine is going down. I haven't been sick in a decade. The reason for this is because my vibration has become so much more soulful, which is the vibration of love, that I have become impervious to harm, okay? Now, what I also recognize is that the vibration of every person and experience and thought on this planet today and yesterday and through all of human history in physical manifestation, all of that energy exists. And that energy is vibrations, it's waves. And when you're walking down the street, no matter how impervious you are, or when you're sitting at your computer in your house, no matter how impervious you are still walking through this vibration. It's sort of like radio waves or microwaves or satellite rays. I don't know what satellites do, but you get it. And so we have to understand that the more all of those collective vibrations and waves are attuned to the same frequency, the more impact they're going to have on us, no matter how evolved we are. We're going to feel those vibrations because there are so many now attuned to the same frequency. Got it? We are now globally attuned, mostly to fear, mostly to a feeling of inadequacy, helplessness, limitation, scarcity, and so on. So no matter how much you have shifted your vibration to be closer to the vibration of love, you're still living in a frequency that's unified, therefore more prevalent. So before this, there was the pocket of energy from the California fires. There's the pocket of energy of political discord. There's a pocket of energy from school shootings. There's a pocket energy of, the tornado. We had all these pockets, but because those pockets were not unified, you could easily skirt around the sensation of them. Doesn't mean you're not caring or compassionate or loving, but it just meant that that didn't necessarily permeate you. So right now is one of those rare moments when even the most highly evolved person is going to experience the vibration of the collective. So yes, it might feel annoying or frustrating. However, it's a good thing if you think of it as, I'm glad I'm part of the human experience to some extent. And I'm glad I have access to tools and perceptions that help me not let that collective vibration pull me down, but I use my tools to lift above it. And not only can I lift above it and get out of the well, but I can also help other people do the same. So the point is, it's okay if there's a dramatic happening around you. And when it's significant and it's large, it's okay to say, I'm having a rough time. I'm having a rough time. The whole entire point of me doing these 3 classes is because I recognize that. So I want to amp up, and we are amping up our tools to help us understand that even though this vibration is existing, it actually doesn't have to penetrate us in a way that continues to hold us down. Each of these 3 tools, the 2 that I've already given, the 2 that well, that's a goner. Luckily, there's backup. So those ones I gave you already, and the one we're going to talk about today, these are the ways you lift yourself back up when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the collective vibration. Okay? Just as I said, like I'm not going to hide names of places that I think are behaving soulfully or not soulfully anymore. I also am not, we're not in a period of history anymore where our perspective about soulful choices and the vibration of love, where we want to keep them hidden. Being a point of light now means you shine and you set an example, but you want to put yourself out there a little bit more. So at the end of the day, when you return home, if you're 106 or 101, whatever age you are, when you look back and you realize you amped up your courage a little bit to help introduce the possibility of soulful choices to people in a non-judgmental, non-critical way, you're going to feel really good that you put more out there to try to kind of ignite the light in other people who are sleeping. Okay? Does that help? Let me get back to seeing you. Monica, does that help?
I wasn't expecting to feel so shitty. And I know all this stuff, you know, and I'm usually not a person, I'm pretty optimistic. And all of a sudden I'm like, boom. And all the things that I've used, like physically to do hot yoga, like my different practices that I've always used to kind of more center myself, are now unavailable.
Okay.
So, that.
Okay. I'm gonna
really,
you can talk about it again a little bit more. Okay. Yes, I think that it's helpful, Monica, that you are a voice for a lot of people that are here today, is that a lot of people didn't expect to feel this crummy, or they thought they were more impervious to some kind of vibration or energy, that they thought that they were past this part of their lives. Again, that's one of the reasons why we're doing this, is to help give you the tools that you can turn to. But I'm glad, you know, in all of these classes, I've never gone back to a person that asked a question and unmuted them. And I did it today, and now I know why, because I felt like I was prompted from the guides, because there is another component to this. And I've been talking about this more with a lot of different clients, but there is another component to this, is one of the things that we can begin to really understand as a result of this is that I'm sure there's some of you that are on this call today that heard me say this, like this week during sessions or last week during sessions. You're going to be like, oh yeah, we just talked about that. When we're doing something and we're aiming to meet a goal, whether the goal is to be earning more money, whether it's to be more peaceful, whether it's to get a divorce, whether it's to eat healthier, whatever our goal is, when we aim to meet a goal, there are a few different ways that we can do it. And if you think about your language is going to say what vibration you're using in your approach to that goal. And what I've noticed increasingly over the last 10 years is a lot of people are making spiritual development a lot of work. I mean, so much work that I really love to just throw the F-bomb in there. It's not supposed to be so much damn work. If it's that much work, you're not doing it right. Spiritual development is the opposite of work. It's the opposite of trying. It's the letting go. It's the releasing. It's the surrender. So some of us, our practices are so damn hard. You're putting yourself in a tailspin. You're setting the bar so high. You have such an expectation of waking up and feeling peace and angels singing and all that. Your expectations are so high, and if you're not getting there, you're working harder. You're looking at other people thinking they achieved it and you're the only one that didn't. It's not supposed to be work. You're not supposed to be trying. You can put effort toward it. Put effort toward it. I am thirsty. I believe that having water is good for my body. I am drinking water. That was not hard work. I am not trying to drink water. I am drinking water. I put some effort into the drinking of water. I filled my cup. It's the temperature I like. I picked the cup up and I drank from the cup. My goal was to drink water. I put effort toward drinking the water. I didn't work to drink the water, and I didn't try to drink the water. Does everybody see that difference? It's an enormous difference. When you approach a goal as it being work and you're trying, you're setting hard work sets you up for failure. Trying sets you up for never getting there because you stay in a state of perpetual trying. But putting effort toward a goal that you like, it's allowing, it's surrendering, it's doing your job to get there. That's all. So you put effort in, but don't try and don't work hard at it. So I've had quite a number of clients where over the last 2 weeks, they were given from their guides almost like a moratorium on spiritual work and development. One person, she was thrilled on the phone that the guide said, do no spiritual pursuit whatsoever for 3 days. 3 days. Oh my God, you thought that I just gave her $1 million when her guide said this. No spiritual practices for 3 days? Yes, because it's become a superstition. It's become a need. It's become so much damn effort. So much damn work. It's the more work you put into it, the more you try, the more it eludes you. So it's getting balanced back to saying, I'm doing this because I want to. I'm trying this because it could be fun. I'm trying this technique because I think this one might work. And if it doesn't work, I'll put effort into a different technique. And I'm going to change up my techniques if they become stale or they're not working for me. So just think of it in terms of effort in meeting a goal, effort in meeting a goal. I have this thing where I have this, there's always like a side habit going on anytime I'm talking to anybody. And I'm constantly interviewing people, even if they don't know it. So I've figured out, like I've had clients who are Major League Baseball players, or they've had a top 10 hit song, or they work here and they work there. And I'm always interviewing them, even as I'm coaching them, because I'm like, what's the mindset? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they believing? Right? And it's cool for me because I'm always doing this, and what I always see in their win column for having gotten to the success that they're at, if they're happy, I don't care if they're not happy, then I don't interview them. But I always see that what it is a lot, they put effort in, you know? They put effort in. They show up for the auditions. They're writing another song. They're practicing that song. They're practicing up at bat. They're putting effort and effort and effort and effort and effort into it. But they're not saying, this sucks. I work so damn hard. I keep trying and I'm not getting anywhere. Because you know what? They wouldn't be at the level of success if that was the approach to the thing that it is that they're doing that's making them so happy, right? So effort, there's nothing wrong with effort. Go milk your cow, plant your seeds, water the grass. You could put effort into it, but you don't have to go out there and say, oh, I gotta go milk the cow. This is a horrible day. I can't believe I freaking have to milk the cow. It's so much damn work. I'm trying to milk the cow. Just go out there and milk the cow, right? It's a very different approach. It's a mindset. So I am glad that I came back to you, like I said, Monica, because I was prompted from the guides to do so. I used up time because that was a really, really important question. But I did say to Christine that I would let her ask a question as well. So I'm going to let her ask her question, and I'm unmuting you now, and I'll just try to do a speedy answer for it. Okay, Christine?
Okay.
So I know one of the benefits is families are getting closer together. They're bonding, they're playing games, they're just spending more time together. But I don't have that benefit going on at my house yet because my boys are constantly with their social media.
Okay.
Fortnite, telephone calls, FaceTime calls.
All right. One thing that I've always found useful with working with my own kids is I like pieces of paper sometimes more than chatting, because there's not a lot of emotion on a piece of paper, but when you're saying something, a lot of times as parents it comes across as very, very judgmental. And as soon as you say something that sounds judgmental, you're going to have resistance, because that's part of a child's responsibility, is to move from dependence to interdependence to independence. Their only job is to become independent of you. Not that they're bratty, it's not that they're teenagers, it's their job. Their job is to become independent of you, right? So what I'll do, and this works and when you're consistent with it, it has no value in the beginning until you're consistent with it. So what I do is I write things down. So I don't necessarily ask for permission, but what I'll say is, from now on, it doesn't matter where I think, I say my source is, but if I quote a source outside of me, it makes it feel like it's not directed to them personally. And that's very helpful, because their job is to become independent of me, even independent in thought, right? So I'll quote, oh, I read in a magazine that it's a really good idea to blah, 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 right? So I'll write something that we're going to do from this moment on, and then I'll write out some other stuff that they know they would normally have written on this piece of paper. So what I always had the kids do was they would write down, either they'd cross it off the list when it was done, or they would write in a time that it would be done. So what you can do is, like, let's say they take out the garbage, or let's say they walk the dog. So you write, feed the dog, or whatever would be on their normal chore list. But one of the things would be is that I just read this article that doing such and such does this for your body, or does this for your mind, or does this for your intelligence, or whatever you think might entice this, does this for your athletic ability. Tell them what the thing is. Tell them what you read or heard is the benefit in doing that thing, a benefit that they think personally will benefit them, not you, but them, right? And then you put that on the list. And their goal is to either do it or tell you the time that they're going to do it. As soon as I started this technique, I started it when my first kids were in middle school. It changed everything, because they would, once in a while, I'd hear them, 3 of them looking at their list on the kitchen counter, and you'd be like, but you know what? It just became a way of being. It just became a way of being. And I never, ever, ever spoke about anything on the list. So it never became a battle point. It never became something that they had to dig their heels in about. It never became something that they had to become independent of me on. You follow? So the whole idea is to find ways to suggest improvements to the quality of their life by perhaps doing something other than play Fortnite, but doing it in a way that doesn't feel like you're rah, 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 and telling them what to do and implying that they're bad or wrong or whatever. And when they actually start to do those things, they might even see that they feel more balanced. You'll even once in a while overhear them bragging to a friend that they just hiked Bear Mountain instead of doing such and such, or whatever it is that they're now doing. You will accidentally overhear them finding out that they like it or that it's beneficial. Okay, so start out small and then start to grow those things once they see that the list is a good communication tool. Thank you, Jennifer. I like seeing that you wrote me that. I saw that in the chat. Thank you. That was so nice. Appreciate it. Oh, there's another message here. I can't read that one. I don't know why. Oh, okay. It's all right. All right, I guess I'll get to that other person's question later, because for some reason I can't read it. All right, we're good? Is that a good tip? All right. Remember, we think that we own our children. We think that they belong to us. We think that we know everything and they know nothing. Part of developing a relationship where kids are more open to possibilities of trying new things is to show a level of trust in their own judgment and to praise the things that you see them doing on their own that seem to maybe give them more balance in their mind and their body and their spirit connection. So keep reiterating the positive things that they do, and they'll be more amenable to those suggestions that you make that might also enhance the quality of their lives. Another thing I've always done with the kids is I narrate cool things that successful people do. And by successful, to me, it's always got to have a component of happiness or they're good role models. And I've always narrated, you know, like I just come in the room, oh my God, did you know what so-and-so is doing? So I just have been putting that stuff out there their whole lives because it sets the kids up to a possibility of what do they want their future to look like? Do they want to be living in their parents' basement when they're 32 playing video games? But if you keep planting the seeds of possibilities of things we could be doing out there, they see there's fundamental skill sets that need to be developed to get to that point. Okay, so that's another thing, is to narrate possibility out there. Narrate things that others are doing or how they got there or how you hear the effort. Again, that's not a bad word, but to narrate the effort that others have put in. All right? Okay. Oh, now we only have a quick minute for the last tool, but it's an easy one, so we don't need all that much time for it anyway. So I think this was even more valuable. All right. Back back when I was learning how to communicate with guides at first, and I didn't know what I was going to do with this, but I started my company. I had no idea what I was going to do with it, but I created an LLC. And what's very, very interesting is I was so spiritually ignorant. It was absolutely insane how spiritually ignorant I was. But the name of my company is Intent LLC. And I chose that name because it just sounded very powerful. And I loved the play on the word. I loved that it had intentions in it. And I loved that it had intent, meaning focused. Okay? After I named my company, Wayne Dyer came out with the book, The Power of Intentions. And I'm telling you, I should have sued the guy because I was doing Power of Intentions long before he stole the idea out of my head. And I should get some of those royalties for that. But it's really fascinating. The power of your intention is almost as powerful as the effort that you put in. We just talked about effort, but the power of your intentions is incredibly powerful. Are you intending to practice hot yoga so that you don't feel crummy when it's over? Is that your intention? Or are you practicing hot yoga because you want to feel good and whole when you're done? Two different intentions, two entirely different outcomes, right? One is to move away from pain, but you're putting the spotlight on pain. The other one is to move toward balance, to move toward wholeness. When you have your intention to move toward something positive, you're halfway there. You're halfway there. But most of us tend to get caught up in moving away from pain. Therefore, you're making the pain bigger. You're giving it focus. You're giving it energy. You're making it enormous. And then what do? At the end, when the hot yoga's over, you're like, oh, do I still feel that ache? Or did this get better? Or I still feel like I'm in a crummy mood, don't I? But if you finish with the intention of feeling great and balanced and whole, you come out of hot yoga and say, look at that. I feel like that heat got into my bodies. I feel more limber. I think I feel even more optimistic. Your intention will set you up for your result. Okay? Now, I know we're at 1:02. Sorry, everybody. Just stick with me for a couple more minutes. Yes, whoever wrote that, Joe. Against war, for peace. I never fight anything. I don't fight anything. There's nothing to fight. bring people to something positive, but don't fight anything. Good. Thank you, Joe. That was kind of cool. Gladly. Yes, Michelle, to everyone. Okay, so what I want to run through just really quickly, if you're patient with me for another minute or so, and I don't want to take away your play time, since I said I was going to leave Zoom open for you guys to hang out. But just bear with me for 1 second, because I want to talk about intention and how you can kind of amp up where your intention brings you. And I want you to have this in writing so you can kind of go back to and look at it over and over and over and over and over again, because having the intention of looking at this over and over and over again helps the intention to take hold, not be in your head, but in your being, integrating it. But here are some of the things that amped it up for me and still does. These are my habits. A lot of people who meet me now think that this is my innate nature. This is not my innate nature. I had a crummy childhood. This stuff that I'm about to tell you was long gone from my being. I learned these, I taught them to myself, I put effort into them, and now I live them. You guys think this is natural in me? No, it is my brand new habit. It's my 10 to 15-year-old habits. I can't undo them. I can't replace these positive habits with negative ones anymore. They are so much a part of my being now that they are me. And here's how you do it. I intend. When I used to do communications in business, so I was a decent writer in business. So I would never ever use a word as lazy as awesome. You're not allowed to use that word when you're writing in business, right? I use it all the time now. I'm constantly using the word awesome, awesome. I like it better than amazing. I like it better than almost anything because it has some awe in it. Everything has some awe in it. You have some awe in it. The birds have some awe in it. The fact that the sun came out for the first time in 3 days while we're sitting here on the phone now, that has some awe in it. The fact that we're all together has some awe in it. Everything has something to awe in it, right? You can't be unhappy when you're focusing on awe. You just cannot. So amp up your awe. It's an awesome experience. It's an awesome word. And it is the effort that you want to use on a regular basis as often as you possibly can to get yourself to wholeness and harmony and to opt out of that vibration of the collective energy right now that's hostile. Okay? Awesome. Next word. It's almost similar, but it helps you. It's more of it feels more like an more action oriented. And the word is wonder, okay? If you just pause to wonder, to feel wonder, what you get out of wonder is you get wonderful out of wonder, right? So if you're not feeling good and you're like, oh, you know what? People are idiots. I can't believe they're not staying at home. And, you know, this guy's an asshole. You're not feeling any wonder. But if you then go on Piece It Together and you see a father and daughter singing the prayer together and having millions of views on it, you're like, that is, what a wonder. How cool. Think about the courage it took for them to do that. Look at how the man's sitting there and you don't know what's going to come out of his mouth, and then he opens his mouth, and that's just wonderful, right? So for every place you could put a wonderless focus or a aweless focus, F it. Get rid of that shit and pull in the awe. Put more awe. Put some awe into it. Make yourself full of wonder. When you do this in your effort and it becomes a habit, I have a hard time seeing the world or people or anything through anything other than the lens of awe and wonder now. I can't do it. I don't want to do it, but I can't do it. I see the awe and the wonder. And what this does, it helps you to find all of the magic in the universe. It helps you to remember that feeling good is natural. It helps you to find all of the delights. It helps you to find joy. It helps you to live the way we're intended to live, which is in play, in freedom, in hope, in optimism. That's what these things do. So the active verb to get to there is to awe something and to wonder about something. When you live in those active verbs, you will replace your lens of perception with a lens of perception that is really designed to help us live abundant, full, complete, and happy lives. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to send out one more PDF with your homework, so feel free to send me your homework about the benefits personally and the benefits globally in this corona thingy. And also, if you have any other experiences or you see somehow that it worked during your exercise of disconnecting for 30 minutes, and you see that you felt something or you experienced something or you changed it up and the way you changed it up worked when the original way you were doing it didn't work. So share those with us, because it's not always easy to spontaneously see how to open that door. So share those. I'll send out one more PDF in a few days. In the meantime, I'm doing this month's Making Discoveries, which is always online. This month it'll be only online. And as soon as you register, please feel free to email me a question for the Wednesday night Making Discoveries class. It's from 7 to 9 p.m. Wednesday, April 8th, and that's Eastern time. 7 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday the 8th. As soon as you register, please feel free to send me your questions. I'll have them all printed out and I'll try to get through as many as I can, plus whatever topic that your guides want me to cover with you beforehand. Then will the New York City Enlightenment Power Group, which is on 4/13. That's from 7 to 9 p.m. as well. When you register for that, again, send me your questions and I'll get to as many of those questions as well. And both of these events, you'll get the full recording and video after the fact. So even if you register and you can't be there live, I still will try to get to your question even if you're not on live, but then you'll have the recording the next day. And it's Karen@KarenGarvey.com is where you email. And that is it for me for today. So we got it all. Feel connected. Allow yourself to feel excited, jazzed, one, the gorgeous, gorgeous vibration of love in the universe. Let it come to you. Let yourself feel it, be it, know it. Number 2, find the benefits in any challenge and integrate the benefits. Number 3, the power of your intentions is everything. Are you intending to feel crummy or are you actually intending to feel good? Use awe and wonder to discover the magic. It is magical to be alive. Don't ever forget that. It is a magical, magical, magical experience to be in this human body. It is a miracle to be in a physical body. It is a miracle. So enjoy that. Thank you. I'm going to read one last one. Feeling connected, excited, awesome, benefiting in every moment. Thank you so much, Karen. Oh, and thank you for all the compliments you guys have been emailing me. I take them all in and I appreciate them. So I take gifts too. No, I'm just kidding. I did get a gift in the mail. I got 2 gifts this week. It was kind of fun, but you don't have to send me anything. I'm messing with you. I have work to do, but I'm going to leave Zoom open for you guys. And at about 1:25 or so, I will have to disconnect you so I can get ready for my next class. Okay?
Thank you.
Have a great time, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks.
Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Wow.
Karen.
Me, almost 30 people. Yeah.
I feel good.
Hey, Sue.
Oh,